know if you're listening to this on Spotify or Anchor, that was not Matt Bellamy playing Isolated System. As you can probably tell, that was me playing it. Matt Bellamy, of course, wrote the song, but I just started to learn it recently, so that was just my sorry attempt at playing some of it. And also, the piano is not the best, so that's why, for anyone who was wondering. Welcome to the Musecast podcast, the podcast for musers. I am your host, Anais Lucia. So before we get started, every episode I do want to feature a cover of a Muse song. So because I don't want to just feature myself, I just did it for the first episode. I know there are so many talented people that play Muse covers. So if you are one of those people or you know of one, please DM me either through Instagram, Twitter, or send me an email. Link should be in the show notes or in the video description if you're watching on YouTube. And please let me know about that cover because I want to feature covers, but I want permission as well. I don't want to use them without permission. So yeah, and I also want to feature Muse fan art because I've seen a lot of great fan art. So if you want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram, I'm going to be sharing that there and with permission as well. If you make Muse fan art, also please let me know and I can share it. I would love to share it and just see it if I hadn't seen it before. So I started the podcast because I love Muse, obviously. I'm a huge fan, and I can talk about them forever, but I don't really have too many people that I can talk to them about because I'll meet somebody and they say they love Muse and I'll just go on and on and on about how much I love them and talk about all these different things, and then find out that they're maybe not that into them, so they're like, okay, I don't want to keep talking about them forever, and I'm just like, oh, I just want to keep talking about them. So I just created the podcast because I was like, you know what, with the podcast I can talk as much as I want about the band, and hopefully there are other people who love the band as much as I do and will enjoy the conversation. I don't plan for it to be a solo podcast all the time. I would love to have some guests on in the future, so stay tuned, and hopefully we'll get some pretty cool guests. I host another podcast called The Quarantined Happy Hour, and you can find that on YouTube, Spotify, and Anchor as well, so you can listen to that one if you want. And I've also hosted for the Sci-Fi Network, for the AfterBuzz TV network, in case you know about those, those different companies. So I've done a little bit of hosting, but I've always, just being able to host a show about my favorite band is like a dream come true. So why not? Okay, especially right now during quarantine, we have a lot of free time on our hands. So I'll start with a little bit of history of, I guess my history with Muse. I first discovered them, I believe it was 2013. That's when Absolution was released. I'm from the US, in case you're wondering, I'm from the US. So I first heard about Muse through Absolution. And the way I discovered them was, this is going to age me, but I was on Yahoo Music. I don't even know if that really, but back in the day, Yahoo Music had this like music video player where you can look up a band, watch a music video, and it was kind of like Pandora but for music videos in a way, where you would play a music video and then after that music video would end, like if you didn't pick another one, it would just randomly like play another music video from a different artist, something kind of related to it. So I just liked using it because I could discover bands that way. I could just pick one that I liked and then see what else, I would see what else would pop up. And then, I'm watching it, and one time, all of a sudden I see the, time is running out video, and I'm just like, ooh, this looks really interesting, I could kind of tell that it was not a US band. I don't know why from the look of the video, I don't know. But I was very intrigued, and I went to film school, so I immediately got the Dr. Strangelove reference, and that intrigued me more, because I was like, what's up with these guys? And I thought the song was, awesome. I still think it's awesome. But like nothing really happened after that. So I saw it, I thought the song was awesome. and then I just went about my day. But then the next day, I couldn't like stop thinking about it. I was just like, I really like that song, and the video was like, I like the look of it, the colors. I don't know. I'm just like, I kind of want to hear that song again and watch the video. And luckily, this is where Muse did a really good job. Muse, their name is just one word, and I'm very bad with names and stuff like that. So if it would have been a longer name, maybe something more than 4 letters, I might not have remembered it. But luckily, it was only 4 letters, so I was like, yes, I remembered Muse. So I looked up Muse again on Yahoo Music. I played the music video again. I was just like, I just kind of paid attention to it a little bit more. It was my second time watching it, and I was like, oh my god, this band's awesome. Like, I love their energy. I love the drums. Like, I love the ooh, time is running out. And I downloaded that song back, I don't know, I think we had like LimeWire or something like that. And I downloaded Just Time Is Running Out, and I burned it onto a CD. I don't know who remembers CDs. I burned Time Is Running Out on a CD, and I just played that on repeat. I put on my little like boombox that I had, and I played that CD on repeat. Just Time Is Running Out over and over again. And I have ADHD, so like, I don't know, I guess a lot of people with ADHD do that, where we like obsess over like one thing, like especially one song. It's happened to me a lot where I'll just really obsess over one song, and I'll just listen to it over and over, and I don't get tired of it. And everyone else is like, stop, and I'm like, no, it's still amazing. And yeah, I was playing Time Is Running Out a lot, and my sister was like, why do you keep playing that song? And I'm just like, it's so good. So I just, played Time Is Running Out. I never got tired of it. I still don't get tired of it. It's been 17 years since that song has been released. Still amazing. But then I was like, okay, let me find out, find out more about them. So I just, in the next music video, I searched for them on Yahoo Music, and the next music video of theirs I saw was the Stockholm Syndrome. And of course, another really interesting video. I was like, what the heck, is so crazy, especially with the fart. If you've seen the video, you know what I'm talking about. I think that's what it's supposed to be. And then the song itself is amazing. It was only my second Muse song I had ever heard. So at that time, I was more familiar with other bands. So when I first heard Stockholm Syndrome, I kind of got like shades of like Silverchair and Radiohead to like, it kind of reminded me of both those bands. But don't worry, guys, now that I, much more familiar with Muse, I don't really listen to them and think, oh my god, this is like, they sound so much like another band. No, Muse, I think, definitely has their own sound, but all artists are influenced by something else. But when I first heard Stockholm Syndrome, it just made me think of like Silverchair and Radiohead. And after that, I was just like pretty much hooked, and I tried to find as many songs of theirs as I could. I think this was before YouTube existed. This was 2003. So I think YouTube started later in like 2000, like late 2000. 2004 or YouTube, or maybe around that. Sorry, I'm thinking about Facebook, but yeah, YouTube was fairly new, I think, in 2003. So yeah, I basically searched on like I think LimeWire is what I had to download music. So yes, if Muse is listening, I did illegally download your music, but don't worry, I've bought all your albums since then and box sets, and I've been to 9 of your shows. So I think I've kind of made up for that, hopefully. Because I'm just more of I like having the actual albums and stuff like that. So I was always planning on buying the albums eventually, but at that time it was just like a drug for me. I'm like, I need more Muse. So yeah, I just searched as much as I could, all the B-sides that I could. And at that time, Absolution had been released, so I listened to all of Absolution, Origin of Symmetry, Showbiz, I think Hullabaloo too. Yeah, so I was pretty much hooked like after that. Especially, I think what really like hooked me was Absolution, because it had a lot of classical music elements, and I love classical music. I grew up listening to it because my dad is a big classical music fan, so I listened to it a lot because of him. And then Looney Tunes. I used to watch Looney Tunes and Ren and Stimpy a lot, and they used a lot of classical music. So, and then I was in the orchestra. The first instrument I played was the violin, so I was very familiar with classical music. I loved it. So when I saw that they incorporated that a lot, it just really hooked me because there's not a lot of bands, especially at that time or even now, that use that in their music. And just don't find a lot of people nowadays who just really love and appreciate classical music. So when I meet people who do, I'm just like, yes, you're my type of person, like we need to be friends. And I could tell, just obviously because there was so much of that influence that, it's like, this is my kind of band, that they appreciate this stuff. So that would definitely hook me. So yeah, just like, you guys, I, own all their albums. I've listened to like, all their B-sides. They're amazing B-sides. They're so amazing. Oh, I love them. Like I said before, I've seen them 9 times, all in different cities. I'm trying to remember the different cities I've seen them in. So I've seen them in Phoenix, Tucson, San Diego, LA, some of them multiple times. I saw them at Coachella, Lollapalooza. So that's like 7 places. So I've seen them, I think, in LA twice. Yeah, so I saw them in LA twice, and I think Tucson twice, or Phoenix twice. No, Phoenix twice. So I saw them in Phoenix twice, LA twice. So I've seen them in like different states too. Pretty much every tour, I think. Resistance, Simulation Theory, Drones. Because I can't help it. If they come, I have to go see them. Every show is amazing. It's an experience. Every person I've met that has seen them, even like accidentally, like, oh, I was at Coachella and I happened to see Muse. They're like, oh my gosh, they're so amazing live. I'm like, I know, right? In addition to owning all their albums, like I'll buy stuff where even if it's not music, like if it's Muse related, I'll buy it. Like I think Enemy, the magazine, they released I think it was Enemy, I don't remember, but they released like a CD that had like Muse's favorite songs or something on it. And so, but it had Muse, the Muse logo on the cover, but there was no Muse songs on it. But because Muse themselves picked those songs, I got that issue with that CD because I was like, I have to own it because I love them. And I don't know if you guys know of this Lullaby album, but there's a company that makes like lullaby versions of contemporary songs, and they made one of Muse. And of course I bought it because I love Muse and my kids will probably grow up listening to Muse. So I'm like, if I can start them when they're babies, Lullaby, why not? So I have the Lullaby album. If you don't have the Lullaby album, you should definitely buy it. I'll post a link in the show notes and video description. Hopefully it's still available. I got it a while ago, but I don't have kids. But if you have kids, buy the Lullaby album immediately and show it to them. Sorry if you hear that like banging. I keep banging my ring into the table, so sorry about that. I use my hands when I talk in case you're listening and not watching. But yeah, so get the Lullaby album. It's so cute. You need to get it if you have kids. So get the Lullaby album, and if you have not heard of the Vitamin String Quartet, get their Muse album, Vitamin String Quartet. I'm telling you, I love Muse, so I'll find all these different versions. But Vitamin String Quartet does, quartet versions of, contemporary songs, and they're all instrumentals. So they did a, Muse album, and of course I got it because not only do I love Muse, but I love, strings, classical music. So when I heard about that, I was like, okay, so like a classical music version of Muse songs, yes, please. So of course I got that. So please get it if you have not as well. Also, before Matt Bellamy, sorry, I use the word literally, but it was literally probably a month before he was officially announced to be in Guitar Hero 4. I had Guitar Hero 3 where you could create little avatars, and Assassin was on it. So I love Assassin. That's one of my favorite Muse songs. I wish they would perform it live more often, just saying. But I love Assassin, but Muse wasn't in the game. And I had no idea Matt was going to be in the game. That was like a dream of mine. I wanted all of them actually to be in the game. But since they weren't in the game, I went to look the character avatar creator thing in Guitar Hero, and I made all 3 band members. I made Chris, Dominic, and Matt in the character creator, and I had drums, microphone, and guitar, and I recorded a video of them all playing their respective instruments. That was back in like 2003, so you can check out that video on the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. If you're not watching on YouTube, we'll check it out later, link in the description, but you can see my little video I made with them, all the characters I made in Guitar Hero. And if you notice, the clothes that I used for them, the outfits, I modeled them after their outfits from the Wembley show. I don't remember the name of the album. Oh, HAARP. There we go. That was such an epic show and live DVD. Oh my god, that was amazing. I love that. Oh my gosh. Woo! Sorry, that's just I love that DVD. Just that show is amazing. I have the one from Absolution 2 from, I think, Glastonbury, which was also awesome too. Okay, so I wanted all 3 band members to be in Guitar Hero, and I created all the characters. So I don't know, like a month later or something, when they announced Matt that Matt was officially going to be in the game, my head exploded. I was like, what? Like, I wanted this so bad. And then they used the same outfit that I used, the red one. That's the same outfit that I used when I created the character. So that was so interesting because I had no clue. To me, it was just a dream. But like I said, I wanted all 3 of them in the game. I think they all deserve to be in the game. But, Matt it's pretty, it's still something, And then they had Plug-in Baby, which is awesome. So I definitely bought the game right away. I wish I could have, imported my characters, my Dominic and Chris that I made in Guitar Hero 3. I wish I could have, imported them onto 4. So then I could have, had them all together. But because I don't think the Guitar Hero 4 had a character creator. So yeah, another crazy thing I did. Well, maybe it's not crazy, but I love Muse. So in 2009, I believe, this was all a while ago. So I'm sorry if I can't really remember everything. And it's 2020 right now. So I believe it was 2009. So 11 years ago, I had a Muse themed birthday party. Yeah, because I love them. So I asked people to kind of dress up in it's like, how are people going to dress up in at a Muse themed birthday party? What costume? So I said, you can either come as a rock star or come as an astronaut or a space cowboy. And some of them actually came, in those outfits. So it was awesome. I was so proud of it. I had it in my apartment. I made this huge Muse light up sign. I have it somewhere in storage, and I made it with Christmas lights and everything. So when it lit up, it was the Muse logo. I was so proud of it because I made it from scratch. So I definitely still have it in storage. I put the Muse logo on a bunch of cups. We were playing Guitar Hero, mostly Muse songs. So, we had to have that. I had my Muse posters out. I even bought the Bliss candy. For the reference, if you know Bliss, there's a candy, a chocolate candy, I think from, is it Hershey's or Dove? I don't know. There's a chocolate candy called Bliss, and it comes in different flavors, and I bought it. And I think I got 3 Musketeers, because 3 Musketeers and trio. So, there's those little reference. And then I also gave out Reese's candy, because they have a song called Recess. So that's how much of a dork I am. I had to make sure all the candy was that had a little Muse reference. So that was awesome. I would love to have another Muse themed birthday party, but I just need a place to have it. Right now I don't live in a place big enough to have a party, but I definitely want to have a Muse themed party again. But even better, if I could have a Muse themed birthday party and have Muse actually show up, I would pass out probably, but it would be the best birthday gift ever. Or if they probably can't play because my place would be way too small for their humongous sound. But Muse tribute band would be great. But that would just take it to the next level. And then the party favors I gave out for my Muse themed birthday party were like CDs. There were CDs on all the songs on that I burned, and all the songs on them were either like some of my favorite Muse songs or songs that Muse likes or that they kind of like worked on or something like that. They were all Muse related, so yeah, it was pretty cool. I also forgot to say that for my Muse birthday party, I had recorded like a little intro for for all the guests, and I basically edited this video on Final Cut 7, and with some like in real life effects, kind of lame, but I don't know, I went all out for it. And I also edited like this whole playlist of Muse videos, and I called it Muse TV. I even made like a Muse TV logo and I put it in the corner of the screen to make it look like an actual like Muse TV channel, and I had that playing on a different screen throughout the whole party. So while some people are playing Guitar Hero, I had just Muse music videos playing on a loop, which was really, really awesome. I don't have any footage of that, but you can see my cheap little Muse party introduction right now. But before I show it to you, just remember this was back in like 2009. Yeah, it was 2009, early 2009, so it's not gonna be the best quality. So here you go.
You're traveling through another dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of mind. A journey into a wondrous land whose boundaries are that of imagination. That's the signpost up ahead. Your next stop, the mind-bending world of Muse. You're about to meet a man, mid-20s, black hair. He could almost pass for normal. But take a closer look. That's Matt Bellamy. Singer, guitarist, pianist, and the principal character of our story. He's not alone. Witness fellow stargazers Dominic Howard, drums. And that's Chris Wolstenholme, the big fella. He plays bass guitar. Together, they've written the soundtrack to the end of the world.
Officials in Washington said American forces have begun a major air war against Iraq.
Forest fires are continuing to plague much of continental Europe.
The Red Cross is expanding its emergency relief operation in eastern Ethiopia.
If the SARS virus spreads into China's vast rural hinterland, it's a question that everyone fears to ask.
Another thing I did for Muse, I kind of committed a petty crime for them. Probably shouldn't be admitting this on podcast, but I don't know. It's the apocalypse, please. So why not? I was living in San Diego. Maybe it's 2010. I don't remember. 2009, 2010. So I was living in San Diego, and Resistance was about to come out. There's a bus, a bench, where you sit to wait for the bus. There was a bench, and on the back of it, where where you rest your back, it was a big ad for Muse Resistance album. And I saw it and I was like, I want it. I drove by and I'm like, I want that whole ad. It's humongous. And I, would drive around and I didn't see it anywhere else. So I'm like, I really want it. So I thought, maybe if I call the ad company, like maybe they'll give it to me. But I'm like, I doubt it. I doubt they would just give it to me. They would probably charge me or something. So I asked a friend of mine who it's kind of a little adventurous too. So I was like, hey, would you want to help me, get this ad out of this bench? And he's like, yeah, that sounds fun. So I kind of knew he would say yes. So we studied the bench, beforehand, just kind of like what tools we would need so we could come back later. and I made a little sign to replace it. It was so tiny. It was embarrassing. I wrote uprising lyrics on it. I said, "We will be victorious." I put that on the sign. It's so tiny. Like, it was ridiculous how tiny it was. But we went at night to, get this ad out of the bench. But it was a horrible location because it was right at an intersection. It was like a 4-way intersection. So there's cars stopping there, like right by the bench all the time from 4 different directions. Like, oh my God, it was like, they're gonna see us. Like, shoot. There was like several cop cars that were stopping at the intersection. I'm like, shoot, somebody tell them. Like, did somebody call the cops on us? I was like, no. So that, made me a little bit more nervous too. So when we went to the bench, there was an older man sitting there and he was like waiting for the bus. And I'm like, shoot, I thought nobody would be here because it was like later on at night. And I'm like, dang it. So I'm trying to distract him. I just like sit down next to him. And then the guy's like, so when do you think the bus is coming? I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm just, I'm waiting too. And so I'm just like talking to the guy, distracting him while my friend is in the back, like unscrewing the thing so he can get the ad out of there. It's really long. And so I'm just distracting him, blah, blah, blah. And then my friend at one point, while I'm talking to the man, my friend's like, excuse me, sir, we're actually just trying to take this. And then he pulls the whole thing out and we just like start walking, but we have the backside facing the street so people don't see it's an ad because the other side is just white. So, if I just have that facing the street, if people see us walking, they'll just be like, oh, maybe it's just like an art project or some like, Home Depot materials from Home Depot or something like that. So we're just like walking, but it's so freaking long. I'm not good at estimating height, like length, so I'm not even gonna try to guess how long it was, but it was really long. So we're just like trying to make it to the car, and my car was not parked really close because parking there was horrible. So we had to like walk like a few blocks to get to my car, and I'm like, let's try to like walk as fast as we can so nobody sees us. We even had to at one point, like when we were getting to my car, we had to like jump down, like we were high up somewhere, and then we had to jump down with this huge sign like into this little like alley to get to it. It was crazy. I guess because it was like a shortcut, because if we had to go another way, it was gonna be just way longer and more people would see us. So it's like, okay, this is the shortcut, let's jump into this like backyard area. And sorry, my throat's like so sorry. But yeah, we finally made it to the car. We pushed it in. I had a hatchback. We pushed it in, but it was so long. I had like a 99 Toyota RAV4, and we put it in the hatchback, but it was so long that I had to have it over my head. I was holding it up with one hand and driving with another because that's how long the sign was. Like, it came over my head, like almost covering my eyes, but I had to put my hand up. So that's how long it was. But I got it. And I went home and I was like, yay, so proud. I was like, I have this huge Muse resistance sign. And then, I left that little cheap we will be victorious sign on there, which is a horrible replacement. But yeah, so I took a picture of it. I shared it on the Muse message board and people were like, oh my God, that's awesome. I'll pay you $20 for it. I was like, excuse me? Like, do you know the anxiety that I went through to like get this, and the time and potential arrest? Like, that is way more. It is way, all of that is way much more worth, much more than $20. Sorry, I can't talk. But I was like, I'm not gonna give it to you for $20. And you know how much shipping would be for this humongous thing? No. Like, I went through it. I went through the work. I'm gonna keep it, okay? Unless I had multiple, maybe I would sell it, but definitely way more than $20. Like, are you kidding me? That's just an insulting offer. So where is that sign now? I still have it. It's in storage. I have a lot of things in storage. I just recently moved here. I'm in Florida right now. I moved from California and my place is really small, so cross-country trip, you can't really take that much stuff on a plane. I don't have a car anymore, so most of my stuff, including a lot of my Muse memorabilia, is in California in storage. My shirts, I don't have a lot. I only have one here. I have my Muse Simulation Theory baseball tee, which I love because I love all the logos in the back with the different song titles. Yeah, so I did that stuff for Muse. I I've probably done a bunch of other things that I can't even think of, but yeah, I love them. And another reason that they mean a lot to me, but it's really hard for me to talk about it. But it's also something that happened, this probably happened earlier, I would say 2006. Yeah, I was just going through a very, very hard time. And I don't want to provide detail just because, like, I can't right now. It's really hard to talk about it, but dealing with mental health issues, and it's like at the right time, the song "Invincible" came on. I was in my car, and the lyrics just really, just I know it sounds really cheesy, but they just like spoke to me, I guess, and I get kind of emotional when I hear that song because yeah, it just means a lot, and it helped me through that situation. And I just want to thank Matt for those lyrics and all three of them, just for the amazing music. And I hope I get to thank you guys in person someday. But after that, I was like, I love them. I love their music so much. It's helped me a lot, and it's inspired a lot of creativity from me as well. I even edited a Batman Begins music video with using butterflies and hurricanes, because I don't know, every time I would hear that song, I felt like it was really applicable to like Batman, and I would just like see the scenes in my head, like, oh, this would be good here and here and here, and then I just edited the video. So you can watch that here on the YouTube channel if you're already here. If you're listening, then just go to the YouTube channel and you can see the video there, if Warner Brothers has not taken it down. But yeah, just other things I don't really want to talk about that Muse has inspired me to do. I just, when I have certain ideas and they haven't come to fruition, I don't like to talk about them because obviously I'm scared of people stealing them or something like that. Not because I think they're the most amazing ideas ever. It's just a precaution because it's happened before where people will steal ideas and then they don't give you credit. I love sharing, Muse with people that, like, back in, when I first discovered them in, like 2003, I had my first boyfriend at the time, and we love music. That's something that we bonded on, and I introduced him to Muse. I made him, I burned him a Muse CD, and he loved them. He ended up loving them. And then the next year, when we were in college, because we were dating senior year of high school, and then obviously next year we were in college, but we weren't together anymore, but we were still friends. And we actually went to not together, but I went to a radio show, and a local radio show in Tucson, and Muse was playing. And then I ran into him there with his current girlfriend at that time, with his new girlfriend at the time. And it was really interesting. And no, it was not weird because I said we're friends, so it was fine. And he actually told me, like, I'm here because of you, because you introduced me to Muse. I was like, oh, that just like meant so much, like, to know that you kind of had that impact on someone. I know it's not like the biggest thing ever, but it was still pretty cool because sometimes you recommend things to people and they either don't listen, or it doesn't really make an impact. So the fact that he liked them that much that he wanted to go see them live, I thought that was really cool. So, that was in 2004, or 2005, and like I still remember that. So I thought that was really, really cool. So I hope, now you kind of understand how much I love them and why I started this. And I hope you tune in to future episodes. Like I said, I'm going to try to have guests on here. Definitely try to share some fan art on my social media. You can find me on the podcast at Musecast Pod. on Twitter and Instagram. I also have like my main Instagram account, which is Small Town Girl Travels. So you can follow that one as well. So yeah, I want to share fan art, Muse covers on each episode. So let me know. And other topics that I want to go into is obviously, we need to talk about all their amazing albums, as well as, B-sides. I feel like we don't, they don't get that much attention. Classical influences on their music, and some other random things like who would play Muse in a biopic of their life. I have actually thought of that, and I have some choices, so I want to share them. So we have, there's going to be a lot of different things, and I hope you tune in to those. If you want to check out the Vitamin String Quartet album, the Lullaby Muse album, that's going to be in the description below. Thank you so much for listening to the first episode of the Musecast podcast, and I hope to see you next time.